Am I the only one who wants to see the vampire monkeys Missy was talking about? They'd make a great McDonald's Happy Meals toy. They really would. Right, so this is an interesting one. We definitely have a great, massive improvement from last week, definitely. But I still feel like there were bits missing. Because this wasn't really the perfect episode, or second episode. But it wasn't bad. This really one caught me on a dilemma, because I wasn't really sure whether to give it more or less, or the same score as last week. And if you're wondering, The Magician's Apprentice got a 7 out of 10. This week, well, the cast is pretty much 4 people. Pete Capaldi, Julian Bleach, Michelle Gomez and Jenna Coleman. 5 if you count Nicholas Briggs. But Pete Capaldi and Julian Bleach definitely work well together. But Michelle Gomez and Jenna Coleman, as I said, Jenna Coleman does well, but she's overshadowed by Michelle Gomez massively. But then again, all 4 of them do a great job. But I don't know why Missy and Clara are in this episode, apart from Missy to save the Doctor and to explain how she survived death in heaven. That's it. Like, I get the funny feeling that Stephen Moffat was afraid that Clara dying wasn't a good enough reason to have a companion-like episode. Seriously. That's a perfect reason. But anyway, the start of the episode, I felt it really, the clunky bits were with Missy and Clara, the perfect bits were with the Doctor and Davros. Because, as I said, Julian Bleach and Pete Capaldi, perfect together. Like, you can tell they're 2 old people who've been doing this for ages and they're just, sometime, they just want a talk. But then again, the humour's improved as well, like, Doctor taking Davros's chair. Was I the only one who thought that was a bit violent for the Doctor? Like, he literally just ripped him out of his chair. But anyway, the fact that he said, "Does anybody want to tell me that Clara is dead?" That scene in the control room, that was perfect. And considering it was just Pete Capaldi really talking to a bunch of men in tins, he does well. Also, Julian Bleach, perfect. He's just brilliant as Davros. And I hope that if Davros comes back, Julian Bleach can come back as well, because you can tell he can manage to get across the whole "I'm dying, help me" and the "you idiot, you trusted me" type attitude. But then again, one thing I do find annoying is that Davros and the Doctor are lying. Like, they had a great conversation about trying to see the sunset and "I'm happy for you" and "can you just, we're finally making friends and we're on the same side," and both of them were lying. Like, Davros lying, I could understand, but really, could either the Davros trick the Doctor, or he actually meant it, but then his Dalek side kicked in and he just wanted to survive. But them both lying, that was just annoying. Especially since that scene was really good. Like, perfect. But then every so often we cut to Missy and Clara. Or the hijinks of most of the time. Because Stephen Moffat the tank doesn't do the hating. Like, you're saying that every time the Daleks were saying exterminate, they were saying, I like you or something. And how did the Kolskara have names if they say I am a Dalek when they say their names? Shouldn't that be, oh, this is Dalek Dalek, and this is Dalek Dalek, instead of Dalek Sec? Speaking of which, how is he still alive? Like, he got killed, like he left his casing and then was killed. And then the rest of the Kolskara were killed. Are they hiding somewhere? And still no way of explaining where Davros, or how Davros survived. He's still alive, but then again, he might be dead next time we see him. As I said, Dalek continuity, it's never the same thing twice. But Clara in the Dalek, that was interesting. Like, I'm guessing it's especially seeing when the Doctor was almost going to kill her, but then the Dalek said mercy, and he spotted that in the floor instead of just going absolutely crazy and shooting her, which I was expecting what would happen. But my main flaws with the episode, apart from the whole Clara and Missy being alive, apart from to explain how she survived, that weird story at the beginning, and to get the Doctor a bit annoyed, they don't really have any other reason to be there. Like, their story feels quite separate to what's going on with the Doctor. And when they're in the sewers, it's quite clever that they said that the Dalek word for sewers is graveyard. But the decaying Dalek, especially liquid, am I the only one who actually thought that looked like raw sewage? Like, they could have made it a different colour or something, but that is totally raw sewage. I know it's literally the sewers, but if they're supposed to be decaying Dalek, at least make it obvious. But anyway, back to the good bits. The cliffhanger. Wow. I could say it's an anticlimax, but that would be an understatement. I thought we all knew that he wouldn't kill Bubby Davros. Like, that was a given, but I expected it to pick up like he'd just put the gun down and walk away again. And then, when later they were talking about Mercy, he'd go back and save him. Which is kind of clever, like, they saying that he wasn't saving Davros, he was saving a little boy he left on a battlefield. That was clever. But the rest of it, like, the cliffhanger was only there to say the Doctor shot a land or the hand mines. Hardly a cliffhanger, is it? Just sort of saying, sort of like a mini coming soon trailer. Except everybody knew what was going to happen. Anyway, another thing that I'd like to talk about, I'll get to the Sonic sunglasses later because I'll have a massive rant on that. I'll try to cut it down. Well, the Doctor and Davros, great, but it's just, I really wanted it to go somewhere. Like, there was all this development, but it wasn't really development because they were all lying. They were just saying, yeah, I like you, I'm lying, yeah. But the hybrids, the hybrid Daleks, remind you of anything? Say, a two-parter in Series 3, what was it called? Daleks in Manhattan and Evolution of Daleks. Hybrid experiment. They've been reusing a lot of Dalek things lately, haven't they? A lot of them. Anyway, I might as well say some positive things about Missy and Clara. I don't want to say they're completely idiotic, but Clara, Jenna Coleman, was good when she was trying to beg the Doctor, I'm actually Clara, but all you hear was, I am a Dalek, I am a Dalek. And Michelle Gomez, it's like she's like the comic relief on Overdrive. She's perfect. Like, she made a serious scene with Davros and then just pokes him in the fake eye. She actually did what she was gonna... she said she would did in Magician's Apprentice. Which reminds me, why are the episodes called that? Like, I'm guessing the Magician's Apprentice is, like, the Doctor's a magician and Clara's his apprentice, and does that make the witches familiar, Clara's Missy's familiar, like she referred to her as bait? Because that opening, that was sudden. Like, no explanation. Just, we go from the previously trailer to they're alive. And they dragged out the explanation with a story about invisible androids. I could have just said, you could have explained it using Missy's story or their story, not invisible androids. Because that just sounds made up. Like the vampire monkeys. Sounds like something you'd find in a Looney Tunes cartoon. Actually, I think they were. Anyway. Talking about the previously trailer, or the titles in general, they're getting more in sync. Like, they're actually almost in sync, like a second off maybe. I think that they may be in sync, but maybe I was wrong. Maybe the BBC do care. Maybe we will get some titles in sync for the new series. Like, how good would that be? Like, it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 episodes that they haven't been in sync. Like, having them in sync would just be brilliant, amazing. Should so have that. Totally have that. But Colony Sarth, like, one of the best characters in last week's episode, like an amazing subvillain. And all he's done this week is say, "Yes, my lord," and become Cables. Like, really. Cables. You had this great character, and you made him Cables. That's all you did. Like, seriously. You could have at least given him one more scene, because he was such a great character and all he did was just separate into a bunch of snakes. Like, I understand when the Doctor stole his chair, that was understandable, but then he just was wise for the rest of the episode. Why? Stephen Moffat, why? You had this great character. He better come back. He better come back with Davros and the rest of the Daleks. And the Paradigm Daleks. I want them back as well. Anyway. The control room. I forgot to talk about this last time. The scenery on Skaro. The buildings look brilliant. Especially the control room. Like, lovely. I love it. And the infirmary. I like that scene because it's sort of saying... Gave you the sort of the thought of the Doctor's pushing. He said, "Get out." And blimey, Peter Capaldi can act. That is a great scene. Like, I've seen the best scenes of this series has been the Doctor and Davros. But when he said "get out" and then you cut to the Dalek saying Davros is leaving, I thought that the Doctor was holding Davros at gunpoint because it was released as a preview clip. That was pushing Davros along, holding him at gunpoint. I honestly didn't see the whole Doctor in Davros's chair. And I love the line, "Admit it, you've all had this exact nightmare." That was just brilliant. And I also love the line, "You should feel privileged. You have the only other chair on Skaro." That is amazing. But who is that? Why is that chair there? Does Colony Sarth really need to lie down? He's a bunch of snakes. Do snakes really need to sit down? Anyway, that scene with the Doctor just going around the control room in Davros's chair and just pointing the gun at everybody saying that, "Ask me what I want." Like, he's a complete madman. Like, I could totally see the Joker doing that with Batman. Like, "Ask me what I want. I want Clara Oswald." And the scene where he's basically saying, "Be careful how you tell me that she's dead." And I actually thought he was going to shoot them. Like, That would be pretty cool. Like, that is all well and good saying that Missy's telling us, oh, the Doctor's very desperate. But why not have the Doctor shoot a Dalek and then say, anyone else? Sort of like that. But overall, this episode is good. But now to my big problem with the episode. One of which, closure. We need closure. Like, I understand having Missy again, but do we always have to leave her on a cliffhanger? Like last time, is she dead? Isn't she not? Or this time, how does she get out? Like, all we get is, I've had a really good idea. And I bet you she's still got that vortex manipulator, and she's gonna do exactly what she did in the story, like use the energy bolt from the Dalek's laser to power it up or something. I bet you. And she's probably going to return in the season's finale because it too has something to do with heaven and the afterlife. Seriously, you don't have to keep naming your season's finales after heaven and the afterlife. Anyway, my next problem. The Sonic sunglasses. Why? Just seriously, why would you have Sonic sunglasses? Like, they are the stupidest idea I've ever heard of. Like, you know in Smith and Jones where Martha said laser spanner and Doc said, oh, I used to. This is one of those gadgets. Like, he uses it once as a joke and then they're destroyed. Like, I understand he doesn't have a sonic screwdriver, but at least go without a sonic screwdriver, or repair it, or redesign it. Because I understand, I hope it's one of those, ha, I've been wearing these all along, you should have destroyed it, it was hidden in plain sight sort of things. Because, why would you have sonic sunglasses? I don't get it. Like, I understand they're supposed to be wearable technology, but seriously, I just hope, that he replaces them next episode with Under the Lake. Like, I hope. Or, I can only see them lasting till the end of this series. Or, at most, till the Christmas special. Like, I don't think it's gonna be in next series. But overall, which is familiar. It's definitely an improvement, but there's still some loose ends here and there. And sometimes you just need a bit more character development. So overall, I give it an 8 out of 10, which means The Magician's Apprentice and The Witch's Familiar get, let me do the maths, 15 out of 20. 15 out of 20. So, that's it for this two-parter. Next week we have Under the Lake, which is another two-parter. Two-parters in a row. Blimey, we are being spoiled. And, I'm quoting Stephen Moffat here, it apparently has one of the best cliffhangers this series. We will be the judge of that, Stephen Moffat. See you next time.